Kind of a new take on a word problem here, but one that you're going to actually have to make some data for, and then you can get a quadratic on it. Some of these questions do appear in grade 12 as well, although not super commonly, not very commonly, but they have appeared. And it's nice to get some practice at it now to get, a good grasp of the table and then going ahead and getting quadratic afterwards. So let's take a read of the question and let's see what we can do. Creators of an app charged 99 cents and attracted 5,000 customers. They're rolling out a new and improved version of the app, but then are considering to raise the prices for their gross income. During an online survey, it's determined that they would lose basically 100 customers for every quarter dollar of the price was increased. Based on this information, what price should they charge to maximize their gross? Okay, so on these questions, they all kind of determine the same thing. We're not actually going to fill out this entire column because we actually don't. Desmos is pretty good at figuring out what our function is. So let's go ahead and let's just start with our absolute base price, 0.99. We know that there's going to be 5,000 customers. Now, I wouldn't get used to the question let's be honest, this is kind of spoon feeding you of how you can get your answer here. But we're going to take 0.99, we're going to multiply it by 5,000, and we're going to get that their total gross is going to be 4,950. And we're only actually going to get two more rows of this. So let's add a quarter on to 0.99 to get $1.24. We're going to now take away 100 customers because that's what the question has shown us. So we're going to take these two things now and we're going to multiply them together. And we will get $6,076. Now let's pause here and just talk about it really quickly. The higher the price, the less customers they got, but the higher the gross income was. Interesting. Let's keep on going then. We got $1.24 plus another 25 cents. We're going to lose another 100 customers, 49. And we're actually going to just stop at this one here. And we're going to see if we have enough for Desmos to figure out what we're doing. 7,152. So I'm just going to stop here. If you wanted to, go ahead. You can continue on. But I'm just going to stop and I'm going to see if Desmos is actually going to be capable enough to give us an accurate quadratic equation from this one. So let's go ahead and let's chart this up. So back into Desmos. We're going to clear off what we have right now. And we need to enter a table. So let's go ahead and let's push our plus. Let's put our table. X1, Y1 already done for us. 0.99, 1.24, and then finally, let's just enter this one. In grade 12, usually the magic number is 3 entry points. However, some of the more complicated equations that we'll use, more complicated functions, will require 5. You don't have to worry about that until grade 12, though. Okay, notice what I did here. I put in our price and I put down our gross income. I did not put down the number of customers. I only put down these two things. Well, that's what it says, relating the price and the gross income. We're not really concerned about the number of customers. Well, we want the gross income and we want the price. It is not on my graph whatsoever. I don't see any of my points here. That's a problem, but let's address it in a second. Let's go ahead and let's do a quadratic regression. So y sub 1, and we've learned this from the previous units or from the previous lessons. So we just want to make sure that we're still comfortable with this. Perfect. Hey, and we actually got something there. Now, this kind of looks like two straight lines, which sucks, but let's see if we can do this kind of smart. We have our x coordinates here, and you know what? Those look pretty good. I don't think I really want to change the x coordinates too much. Let's go into our graph settings and let's keep our x, but let's go to our y. Now, remember, our y-axis is representing the gross income. Well, we're not going to make negative money. I'll keep this in for right now, just for the scale. But take a look at our maximum y value. we're at $7,000, and we might even go up from that. I'm going to go to 10,000 here. Let's see what our graph looks like now that I made our maximum y coordinate 10,000. Hey, not bad. We got our points here, but it's still going up. Let's go back to our graph settings. Let's go back down to our y's. And I think I'm going to make this 20,000 now. Let's see what we get now. Hey, we get this beautiful quadratic here. That's really good for us. So let's go ahead and let's actually put this on our work, like for our work. Let's go ahead and let's get a couple points here, here, and here. And I wonder, if we gave Desmos just a little bit more information, would we get this number to be closer? So let's go back up to our table here, and let's see if we can enter just a couple more pieces of information to see if it would get even better. So I'm just going to do this kind of work off to the side here, but I'm going to take our 1.49. I'm going to add 25 cents to it. I'm going to get our next coordinate at 1.74, and I'm going to multiply that point, and I'm not going to show it on my my work here, but I'm going to just kind of do it off to the side because I don't want Desmos to go away from me. 7, 8. And let's see if our graph changed a little bit. And you know what? I think this point just changed just ever so slightly. Let's go ahead and let's do one more. So let's go 1.74 plus 0.25. And we're going to multiply that one by 4,600 now. So this would be $1.99, and their gross income would be $9,154. Not too much. I don't think it changed too much. I think my C value changed a little bit in my equation, but that was pretty much it. What we're going to do here is we're just going to list off our points like we normally do here. We're not going to change anything around from that. I want my vertex over there as well. I think I'm just going to scroll out. But we don't want to have all these points on our graph, so I'm just going to kind of blank these out. And now I'm going to copy this down for our page. Let's go ahead and screen clip this one. And we're going to put this back on our work. So a couple things that we want to do. Oh, actually, we also want to get our equation as well. So we want to copy down what our equation is here. I'm just going to use Desmos equation, screen clip it so that we can use that again. There we go. Now we got everything that we needed to in Desmos. So let's kind of just talk about the equation first. It's giving it to us in standard form, and it's giving us our A and B's. So we have our work here, and we're just going to say that y is equal to negative 400 x squared plus 5,396x, and c happens to be 0. Now, in this question, I think it's kind of weird to use x and y. However, they don't actually state what these variables are. So if we wanted to, we could actually just say that, hey, my price is x, and my gross income is y, and we're basically good to go for that. We wouldn't have to say P and I, let's say. If you wanted to, though, however, you could, of course, label this kind of like as the question is indicating. So if we want income, we can label that as I. And then we can keep going with the question, and instead of X as P, or instead of X for price, we can say it's just going to be P. So some of you might be a little bit more comfortable doing that. Some of you might want to use Y and X. Wouldn't really matter in our case. Just make sure that you're doing it over here and representing what those variables are. So what we have here is our graph. Let's label out what you're going to use. I think I'm just going to stick with X and Y if that's cool. I am going to label out that this is going to be the price. Maybe I should spell that with a C. We got a price, and this is measured in dollars. And over here, we have our income, our gross income. And once again, this is measured in dollars. So I'm just going to put the units there. Whatever variable you use, you should kind of link that as well. If that's Y or if that's X, make sure that you do that, or I and P. So after that, we can actually figure out what our maximum gross income is going to be. We have our maximum point. Our max is at 6.745, 18,198.01. And we want to say that our maximum grossly income is going to be 18,908.01. We're going to put the unit of dollars here. The price needed for the app price, and that might kind of shock you here, is going to be 6.75. We're going to round to 2 decimal places since we're dealing with money. Wouldn't make sense to have a third decimal place. So actually, if they increased their app price that used to be 99 cents up to $6.75, which I think I can speak for all of us that that's a pretty hefty app price for one single app. I don't know what this app does. They'd actually make the maximum amount of money. Interesting with that. So kind of cool thing that we can do from this. There are some cool extensions to this question too, like with this price, how many customers would they get? That's kind of an interesting question as well. Kind of far off from our course. Maybe that's a grade 12 type of a question, but I'll kind of leave that for you to ponder. If I were to extend this table all the way down to get to my absolute maximum app price with my maximum gross dollars, how many customers would that be? There is a way to do this without just extending the table, and kind of a mathematical way to do it. Think about how many increases you did. So that's going to kind of let us go for this question here. Lots involving for this question, but again, just making sure that you can read a graph, make a table, of course, and then be able to analyze what this question means would be a good idea.